Okay. When we were. Good evening, my Rabbi. I get to Isruchag and I get winter. We begin again. Sefer Bereishis, Anaya Haschala, a new beginning, new energy, new koyach, and Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach, new understanding, a new amkes in the Torah HaKadoshah. We're going to learn letter Ches in Bereishis. It's on page Nun Aleph. First of all, I want to thank Reb Chaim, who's here and tapes and does this broadcast for Torah Anytime, this Shiur and the Maharal Shiur and the Shabbos Halacha Shiur that we do, Kedusha Shabbos. Thanks to you, Chaim, and Torah Anytime, thousands of people are able to learn Torah at all times. I also want to thank Reb Meir once again for organizing this. I got a phone call today. He asked me, is there a shiur? In yeshivas, there's no shiur, it's bein hazmanim. But the Olam went back to work. The Olam for people who live life every day, today was another day. And today is an important day because it's the first day back. So why shouldn't we have that schus of learning Torah? Why shouldn't we have that schus of being able to have kemach with Torah? Because the main Torah ain't kemach, main kemach ain't Torah. So it's a schus to be able to start the year off with a Zera Shimshon shiur. And this shiur and this subject, not stam, the sugya of Adam and Gan Eden. The Eibishter put Adam in Gan Eden, but he was quickly chased away. And yet, we know, we said, for those who unfortunately have to say, Yisker beGan Eden, Tehei Menuchasoi. So, we get back to Gan Eden. How does that happen? What's Taka the Pshat? Tonight's Zera Shimshon shiur is for a schus for Daniel Ezra Nehemiah ben Simaleah for a shidduch bekarev, Yal Brocha bas Simaleah for a zivug for a shidduch bekarev, Le'ilei Nishmas Moshe Yosef ben Sion, a schus for Yisachar Berish ben Simaleah and Aliza Shendel bas Rivka for Be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach, a Leida Kala bekarev, an easy birth, Yira Shemayim for Shmuel Menachem ben Simaleah, Malka Chaya bas Chindo Rochel, if that's what it meant to say, Chindo or Hinda, and Reb Chaim Zanvul ben Reb Moshe, whose yahrzeit is today, Neshama Shel Havan Aliyah, the schus of the Zera Shimshon Zalens Beishtein, Be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach, and for all of those. Oid Issa b'Medrash, ala Pasik. The Pasik says, the Eibishter says, Nase Odom.
Nun Aleph.
Page Nun Aleph. Zera Shimshon, Sefer Bereishis, letter Ches, page Nun Aleph. The Torah HaKadoshah says that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Adam HaRishon, the lashon of the Torah is Naaseh Adam. Let us make man. Naaseh. Who Kaviyachol is the Eibishter talking to? Maze Naaseh.
There's nobody before.
Who is there? Naaseh Adam. Edveimin Retman. Who are we talking to? Rashi brings down a medrash that he discussed it with the Malachim to teach us on the sanusai from the Eibishter that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when a person does something, even though the Rebbeinu Shalom doesn't have to ask, the Rebbeinu Shalom, even though he knows everything, but gevok mishatev zayin that the Malachim should ask. And I heard from my Rabbi, Zechroina Levracha, here talking the Medrash, B'shah sheba HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'ra'isa Adam HaRishon nasa malachei asharis kitim chaburas. They divided into groups. Mehem oimrim al yibareh. There were those who said, let him not be created. Umehem oimrim yibareh. Those who said, may him be created. Hado d'chsiv chesed ve'emes nivgoshu. Tzedek ve'shalom noshoku. Chesed omar yiborei. The Malach HaMemuna on Chesed said, Yiborei, Shu Goimel Chasodim. Let him be created. He'll be Goimel Chesed. But Emes said he's full of Sheker. Al Yiborei. Shekulam Shkorim. Tzedek Omer Yiborei. Oiset Tzedokos. Shalom Oimrem Al Yiborei. The Malach of peace said, let him not be created. It's full of fighting. Mos HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What did the Eibishter do? Hishlich Emes Arza. He took Emes and he threw it down. That's where the Medrash says over here. In a different place, it says in the Medrash, I think it's Rav Huna who says that, here it's in this Medrash, Rav Huna Rabbi shel Tziporin Amar Ad Shemalach Asher is Medainim Elu ve'elu Umisaskim Elu ve'elu. As the debate raged in the Pamalia Shalmala, as they were discussing, Amar Lahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you can go home. Kvar Nase Adam. I made him already. Schon gemacht. My Rebbe Scheiner asked, if you're going to ask the Malachim, no one asked you, Eibishter, to ask the Malachim. If you're going to ask the Malachim, and they're debating, why didn't you wait for the answer? Why didn't you wait for the answer? Hat der Rebbe gesagt, the Eibishter heard the answer. He heard the answer. The answer is there's good reason to create Adam, and there's good reason not to create Adam. The Eibishter wants the type of person who is not, on the one hand, a robot. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, we'll do whatever the Eibishter says without thinking. And the Eibishter doesn't want someone who is just always going to be contrarian and never shtel sich zu. The fact that a person has a struggle within themselves, kain yibora, lo yibora, they have, and who doesn't struggle? For that struggle we were created. That's the exact answer the Rebbeinu Shalom says. Good reason to create, and there's good reason not to create. Yesh tzadikim v'yesh rishoyim. That's one medrash. So when it was Naaseh Adam, according to this medrash, the Eibishter Taka wanted to hear the reasons, because the Eibishter wanted to bring out this point, that fakert, the fact that a person struggles in life, Adam le'omal yulad. That's what you were created for. Is dafa zoy zayin. It has to be that way. For the schar itself is what a person is put into this world. Obesenish gring. The Zera Shimshon discusses this. He quotes another medrash.
Did the whole struggle come only after the chayv, or because of the chayv? So
Rabbi Meir, I'm so happy you asked that question. If that's true, then he didn't create the. I'm going to repeat your question. Okay. Wasn't the struggle after the chayv? Absolutely not. The struggle was before the chayv, but it wasn't inside himself. The nachash that represented the Ra was an external voice that convinced, unfortunately, Adam and Chava. After the chait, then lo yeh becha keil nechar. Now it's within ourselves. The struggle became internalized, so that we lose our identity. When vilatin epishlecht, you want to do something bad, you think that's who you are. It's not who you are. That was the hostile takeover of the nachash that brought evil into man. So now when we do the wrong thing, you say to someone, you want to do something which is not good, and you say, but I want to do that. Is that what you really want to do? your kasha you're going to see is going to become nisbar even more in the Zera Shimshon as well.
So Bechira was created by this conversation, or the story with the barful trees?
The Bechira was created, as you can hear from the Medrash, before Adam Arishon was created. He was created for Bechira. Lamer Masber Zayin. When a Malach does the Ratzon of Hashem, he's not going to Olam Haba. Do you know why? Because he naturally does the Ratzon of the Eibishter. He has no choice. When a behema lives their life as a behema, there's no choice for the behema to do that because that's what's natural. When a person does the Ratzon of the Eibishter, you're bringing out Kvod Shamayim. You know what Kvod Shamayim means? You're bringing honor. Why are you bringing honor? Because I have the choice of saying, no, I don't want to listen. And I say, I will listen. I choose to make that decision. That means there's covet. If a person's a boss in a business and everybody's petrified from this boss, they listen because they want to listen. They listen because if they don't listen, it's off with their head. He's going to fire him the next minute. They're petrified. He's honored. He's honored. They don't honor. They don't. What do you know what they say behind his back? That a person who gives kavod because he wants to, that's called real kavod. The malachim, steht in Nefesh HaChaim, the malachim, steht in Zohar, only are mekalas and give kavod to the Bereishis after we give kavod to the Eibishter. The kavod of the Rabbi Shalom is the fact that there's basar v'dam that are mekalsim oisai. So we're the ones who praise the Eibishter. Tzigizin. Zog the Heilig is Zera Shimshon. One pshat was he asked the malachim. Another pshat in the Medrash is B'nafsheisehem shel tzadikim nimlach. He actually asked the tzadikim themselves. Et gefregt the tzadikim. What does that mean? The neshamas of a person exists before it comes. Where do the neshamas come from? Tachas kisei hakavod. So those neshamas exist before they come into the guf. The Eibishter asked the neshamas, Dibis maskim to come down to this world and do the work you need to do? Are you ready to take on the job? Says the Medrash, I want to quote it. Amar Brachia, b'shasha b'hakadosh baruch hu Bereishis ha'olam harishon, but before Bereishis Adam Rishon, ro'ah tzadikim v'reshoim. No.
Did this conversation happen on Yom HaShishi or
1 minute.
before?
Rabbi Yeshua Diskidin b'shem Shmuel Amar B'nafshoson shel tzadikim nimlach. He asked the tzadikim, Ha'odech siv heima hayotzrim yoyshvei netoim. Heima hayotzrim Hashem vayitzer Hashem esodom. They were the ones who were created. Yoyshvei netoim Hashem vayitan Hashem elakim gan be'edem mikedem. Says the Zera Shimshon. The Medrash tells us that the Eibishter, according to this pshat, asked tzadikim, fragt sich akasha, lama hutstrach liyos nimlach imohem. Why are you asking them? For what purpose? V'yesh laimar. So the answer l'chayra is, since the Gemara says, if a person had a choice to be created or not to be created, the Gemara in Eruvin says, Noyach loy la'adam shelo yivra. It's better, the struggle is hard, it's better not to be created. Therefore, if the Eibishter is creating a person and has expectations, so the din is ein chayven loy la'adam ela b'fanav. You can't ask you can't be mezaka a person something that is detrimental unless you ask him. You can't be a shliach if you see a diamond on the street and it's worth a lot of money. You want to pick it up for your friend. Zochin la'odam shaloi b'fanav, on one condition, that it's a big schus. It's worth a lot of money. If you have an elephant on the street, it's also worth a lot of money. Maybe I could be mezaka that for my friend. That has liability. You have to ask him if he's maskim to take that. And if you say, but I got it for you already. Excuse me? It's a chayv. Who, you didn't ask me. If you're telling me that it's difficult and adarabba, that yoiser, a person shouldn't be created, so how are you creating without asking him? So the Eibusher has to go and ask him. So therefore, mishum hachi utzich leimlach bem. As I zok the Zera Shimshon. Avokasha. The imkain masaponim yesh bedover. So then how did he create Rishoyim? They don't have the schus. For them, a Rasha doesn't end up so good. If you have to ask the tzaddikim, you should ask Rishoyim as well too. And as a matter of fact, the Medrash says, I'm about to quote it, that when it came to ask, he only asked tzaddikim, he didn't ask Rishoyim. Listen to the lashon of the Medrash. B'shad sh'hakadosh baruch hu bar livas adam harishon ro tzaddikim v'rishoyim. Omar imani bara oisoi. He says, if I create him, then some of them are going to be Rishoyim. If I don't create him, how did tzaddikim going to come to the world? Also, what did the Eibusher do? Hiflag darkan shorishayim mepanav. He pushed away the Rishayim. He ignored the Rishayim and created the tzaddikim. Hiflig darkan shel Rishayim. V'shiktev midas harachamim uboroi. And he created them. Says the Zera Shimshon. I just quoted, you'll see it inside together with me. Says, V'loma lo nimlach behem, ela adrabah, omer b'medrash, ma'as HaKadosh Baruch Hu hiflig v'darkan shel Rishayim. V'cheinu ksiv ki yadei Hashem derech tzadikim, v'derech Rishayim toivei. He knew the tzadikim, but he ignored the Rishayim. I don't understand, Frank the Zera Shimshon. Is that fair? You just ignore that? Number one. V'oid haflog zon yadei mahi. The soif Rishayim yebayim, they're going to be Rishayim. The Eibusher knows everything. What does it mean? Nothing's nelem from there. What does it mean? The hiflig. Zog the Zera Shimshon, a chiddush, a bomb chiddush. Zog the Zera Shimshon.
I mean, they can change.
Zog the Zera Shimshon. Listen, what you're saying, but I'm going to say it in the lashon of the Zera Shimshon. Sheklal godol biyadenu. State. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek la'olam haba. Kol Yisrael and the Amech kulam tzadikim v'ksiv lo yidach mimenu nidach. No one is farfallen. No one is lost. Says the Zera Shimshon. So therefore, if a person lives his life like a Rasha and he didn't get it straight, guess what? He's coming back. And he's going to keep on coming back until he gets it straight. Lo yidach mimenu nidach. V'tzirikimin begilgul nochamo, nochamo, nochamo. It doesn't matter how many times it takes until he gets into Gan Eden.
Guaranteed positivity.
Guaranteed. You might have to go through a little bit of Gehenna until you get there. But you want to see the lashon inside, that you don't think it's my words? Yesh v'yesh. They say if you marry the first one for him and for her, it means it's your first time around. But it's hard to believe that we're not Gilgulim, because we're finishing off all of the cheshbons. Look in the lashon. Let's see the lashon. Umisha chatav. There it is on page Nun Aleph, right in front of you. Choizer lehizgalgol ad sheyitakein. He will become a Gilgul ad sheyitakein, until there's a tikkun. Im kain kim tochos kol hanefashos hein tzadikim. Every nefesh was created from Yenetzad HaToiv. In other words, for all the tzaddikim and even the Rishoyim, they were also asked. Because mitzad the chelik atoiv, there was if they deserve to be in Gan Eden, call Yisrael Yeshem chelik lo'olam haba. I just want to make a distinction over here. Just put out a disclaimer. And Madaf Aleph Beis. So often we confuse Gan Eden and Olam Haba. We talk about it all the time, but it's the first Shiur of the year, and it's kedai to repeat again. The Dvarim Apshutim. The Olam macht atuas. The Olam makes a mistake. The Olam thinks Gan Eden, Olam Haba, it's a good place, right? No. I mean, yes, it's a good place, but it's not the same place. Olam haba means in English, the world that shall be coming. Haba, that will happen. It's not olam hazeh, which is this world. It's this world when it will happen. Haba. This is olam haba. That means it's not here yet. Gan Eden is here right now. Adam Arishan started in Gan Eden. When there's a separation of guf and neshama, and the guf goes back into the ground. We know where the guf is. Avud neshama. Began Eden tehei menuchasai. What's it doing there? It's waiting so that the guf should have its tikkun, the velt should have its tikkun, and then it could be mischaber back to its guf. Because the neshama did and connected to the guf in all the good that it did. The guf that made mistakes, that part is not nitzchi. That part needs to decompose. That part needs to break down so that whatever is good in the body, which connected to the neshama in its lifetime, should be mischaber for nitzchias. So body and soul together go to olam haba, which will happen at the end of olam hazeh, plus another 1,000 years. This world, we just started 5, 7, 8, 6. It gives us 213 plus, right? Till the end of 6,000 years. Afterwards, the 1 year, the Shana Echas, like Shabbos. Nothing's happening. The world will rest. Just like Sheishes Yemei HaMaaseh, V'yoyim HaShvi Shabbos, we just read it in this week's Parsha, we will be reading it. So too, that's the Shnas Elef HaShvi. Like the Gemara says in Sanhedrin, Tzadik Beis and Tzadik Daled. Nothing's moving. Then starts Olam Haschar. That's Shmini. That's the 8,000th year. That will happen. Kol Yisrael Yeshem Chelik La'olam Haba means all of us who are Bnei Yisrael in this world are going to get to Yenavelt, Be'ezras Hashem Yisbarach. What's going to happen from now till then? Everything has to be worked out. And when a neshama comes down and it does what it needs to do, it's finished, it can go in Gan Eden. If it's not ready for Gan Eden yet. It's not ready to rest. Kim Tzadik, Nacha Guf, come on back. You have more work to do. Says the Zera Shimshon, Va'af oisam, shebepam achas bo'oso oilam, nirin rishoim. They look like rishoim, soifan lehitaken. They will be fixed. V'zeu hiflig midis rishoim medor ledor. That's what it means in the Medrash that the Bereishis was maflig. When the Bereishis saw the actions of the rishoim and said, what's going to be? The Bereishis zorgnished. Don't worry, it's not going to stay that way. It's not going to stay that way. I don't have to ask the Rishonim, because they're not going to stay Rishonim anyway. The tzaddikim are the ones that I have to ask.
Why do we say that they give the Baruch gives Rishonim Scheiner Alam Haba if they don't get Scheiner Alam Haba? So it sounds like saying that they're never going to get that Alam Haba.
Oh, that's maybe somebody who ripped out his name, Heishenish Kanyid. The Gemara says, Zera Shimshon is going to mention it. Unfortunately, it's possible a person could get to a darga where they were menatic themselves. As long as there's a Yiddish and a neshama in there, you can always go and connect that again. It's always, we can, even after the person died. Even after the person died. Now, ve'enochanami, mi shenimlach im kol hanefoshoy sheyesh lem shoyrish mitzara kedusha. Kum tochoy that the Eibishter really did take counsel. He did discuss. He did talk to all of the Heilige Tzaddikim. Dainu oisam shoy koilim ba'odam arishon, the ones that were included in Adam Rishon Kamay Shirachnu, and like we wrote in Sefer Zera Shimshon. I don't have the time to go through that right now. But v'oid yesh loymar, isa b'zoyer HaKodesh. Kol inan nishamin de b'nei nosha. All the neshamas of a person, of a human being. Ad layachtun la'alma, before they come down to this world, kulan gelifin kamoi berekia. All of them have a tzura in shamayim. V'inon delay mishkachas zakoyin b'hai alma. What they look like, what they're going to look like over here. Listen to the Lashon HaKodesh. Kol elu manhigei oilam hanimtzoim b'chol dor v'dor b'terem shabo la'olam. I'm reading from the Sulam on the Zohar. Before they come to this world, hayinimtzoim lefnei Kadosh Baruch Hu b'tzura seihem. They look exactly like their tzura. V'afilu kol neshamas b'nei Adam ad sheloi tavana ba'olam kulam chakukais lefana b'rekia. The Rebbe Neshama sees the tzura of that neshama. Do you know what the neshama looks like? Do I know what the neshama looks like? The neshama looks like a person's face. The word punim, which is his face, is also pnim, the inside. My Rabbi, Zechron Levach Zug, there's one place on the outside that you could see what's going on the inside. When you look at a person, you look at his hands, you look at his feet, you see a body. There's one place where you can look at and you can see beyond the body. You ever talk to somebody and you see he's not listening to you? He's not interested. Did he say so? No. I see it on his face. And when he's interested, you see it. And when he's happy, you see it. And when he's sad, you see it. Where do you see it? How do you know? It's on his face. The punim is megala the pnim, is megala the inside. That's why it's no coincidence that the part of the body that reveals the secrets and what's going on inside is the peh. And the sfasayim, the lips, are called a safa, like a end, because it's the part on the inside that sticks out. Just like when you take a hem and you cover it, you turn it, it's called a safa. You bend it over. The inside comes out by the sfasayim. The lips are the chelek hapnimi, that's megala bachutz. That's what it is in the tzura sa'adam, and that's how it functions in the tzura sa'adam. Because you find out was titzach inavainig, what's going on the inside, outside, through that mechanism. In oilam haba, the Rebbe gezukt, my Rabbi Moshe Shapiro Scheiner levracha, all that's there is the tzura sa'adam, and that's called the panim. That, Rabbi Isai, is called Salam Aleikim. Do you know why? Just like there's only one Eibishter, there's only one you. Where do you see that? In the panim. Ein partzufeim shavas. They're not similar. Yeder einer has its own panim, has your own panim. They're going to tell me, but I heard that there's, somebody on the other side of the world that looks like, they say that rumor. Well, where is he? Nobody ever found anybody that looks like them. Oh, he's in China. If he's in China, he doesn't have the same color skin and his eyes are not the same. There's nobody. Lefichach nivra ha'adam yechidi. He's an individual. You know what an individual means to say? There's only one of you that has been the 8 billion people that are here today, and the billions and billions that have been here since the beginning of time. There is only one you. One identical twin, the same mention. Ask mommy. She'll tell you which one's this one. Rabbi Aaron Chodesh, when I was in yeshiva, there were two Wittensteins. There were twins. He used to say, he wanted to talk to one, he needed both. He never knew which one was the right one. So but that's because he didn't know. But a person knows. Identical twins are not identical twins, Mayor. Identical twins are yichidim that look similar. The fact that every single... When the Eibishter created Adam Arishan, I think of Achsedra, and he was created B'Tselem Elokim, one of the explanations of Tselem Elokim means, just like the Eibishter is one and only, Hu Echad Ve'ein Sheni, the Tsuras or Adam that's B'Tselem Elokim is a one and only person. There's only one of you. And that means that only you can bring out that Kvod Shemaim, and only you can go ahead and be Mesakim what you have to Mesakim. And what happens if I don't? I'll take that Neshama and I'll bring it back down into the world. And I'll have to do it again. The fellow who didn't do the right job, he'll have to get what he gets. The one who did Mesakim, he'll get what he gets. Kol Echad Ve'echad. Kiner Hashem Nishmas Adam. Just like you have a candle. You can have 20 million candles. You can take one light and light all the candles. The gufim are the candles. The light is the ner. So it's the same neshama that lights this body and this body and this body until all of them together get it straight. And that's how the Amech Kulam Tzadikim, says the Zera Shimshon. All right, we're running out of time. I want to jump to the end. Zuk the Zera Shimshon. V'atam, end of paragraph Nun Beis. Ha'or ha'elyon, the higher light, the Ora Elyon, the Neshama, which is considered like Kinera Lakim, Nishmas Adam. Haniach behem Reshima shel Kedusha, was placed in the Neshama an imprint of Kedusha. Ubezeh nisvase behem his oiris pnimis, letakein tikunem belev shalom. In order to allow a person to ultimately get it straight and to ultimately be mesakin what he needs to be mesakin. Va'amitus ha'perish hazeh. And the fact that I know that this is emes, yotzolonu medrash Rabbi. I learned this, says the Zera Shimshon, from a medrash. On the pasuk vayosem sham eso odam asher yotzar. The medrash, also over here in Medrash Rabbi, Perik Tez Zayin. It's a mistake. It's not hey, it's vav. It says vayosem sham. The Medrash learns out a drasha sham sham. The Medrash says, just like vayosem sham eso odam, just like it says that the Eibishter told Moshe Rabbeinu to put Vayi Sham ad Hayoim Hazeh, to put the Oron in its place. Omar, the one before that. Ilo osa oise heichma de Omar soim tosam alechem melech. Says the Medrash Rabbi. Kach hizmin HaKadosh Baruch Hu es ha'adam b'schus shel Avraham. He invited Adam Harishon into Gan Eden, even though the Eibishter knew that Adam Harishon would be sent out of Gan Eden. That means that in the Tzuras HaAdam that he created, Rabbi Isai, he knew he would spoil it. He knew he wouldn't be different than a Rasha who I put down into this world and mess up. So why did he put him there? Hado d'chsev, b'schusay shel Avraham. Hado d'chsev, ato yadato shifti v'kumi. Shifti how Hosmir Bazetzt, how you put me in Gan Eden, Vikumi, and how you told me get up and get out. Banta l'rei merochik, but you prepared it with a machshava l'saken merochik from Avram Avinu, who is rochik 20 generations away. Shivti b'toich Gan Eden v'kumi terufi metoicha. Banta l'rei merochik b'schus ya'atzta l'vareini b'schus Avram Avinu, who came merochik. Says the Zera Shimshon. V'zoisa eitzahi shenimlach benafsheiseim shal tzadikim. With this eitzah, hare, we're going to learn Be'ezus Hashem. When Adam and Chava, let's say it this way, when Avram brought Sarah into Ma'aretz HaMachpelah, he found two people buried there. Who was buried there? Adam and Chava. In the Zohar HaKodesh state in Parshas Chayei, that is the Pesach to Gan Eden. What was Adam and Chava doing there? Pashut. They were in and they were kicked out, so they were buried outside. But what was Avram doing there? He was bringing Sarah because she was supposed to be inside. Meis b'loi chet. She shouldn't have been out there. And the Zohar HaKodesh says that Adam and Chava get up and they want to leave because they're embarrassed of the maisim. Loi dai sheyesh lanu busha ba'oisai oilam is a lashon of the Zohar. But now if you're going to bring Sarah here, it's our fault that she died. State in the Zohar HaKodesh, if not for Adam and Chava, a person would be able to go lebedika height into Gan Eden. And what am I telling you, Chedushim? There's Gemaras. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi went lebedika height in Gan Eden. It's possible to go into Gan Eden. People went into Gan Eden. They had took the knife away from the Malach HaMoves. Remember the Gemara? You can go in. Who's stopping it? Who made the cherev, hamislahet, that cherev doesn't let in? You know who made that? Adam at the Savegelekt. Zog the Zera Shimshon, azoivi by Adam Harishon. I knew when I created him. I knew that I gave him a test. And it was a big test. It was a nochosh. Of course he had Bechira, but it wasn't inside of him. And eventually, he was kicked out. But came Ha'odam HaGodol Ba'anokim, came Avram Avinu. Gemara in Baba Basra Yud Zayin that says, Shalash lo sholat behem Yetzer Hara. When the Yetzer Hara tried telling Avram Avinu to do something wrong, he got to a madrega where, finished. No vacancy, buddy. You have nothing to talk to me about. And what did he get? Bris Milah. Bris Milah, right? Bris Milah, state in Avos Reb Nosson, Adam Harishon was created mohul. Shenema b'tzelem elikim boras Adam. An orla is nishkeit tzelem elikim. The orla happened because when he ate from the Eitz Hadas, it was still during Sheishis Yemei HaBereishis. It's like lahavdil cholila, a woman who's expecting, and she drinks alcohol, and she smokes, and she takes all these things that destroys her body. What do you think she's going to do to the baby? Cholila. The baby's not even born yet, and it's getting exposed to all this toxicity. Adam Harishon is in Gan Eden. It's still the 6 days of creation. Und est von Eitz Hadas. So Avada, he created a monster. He created a person that has koiches of Ra and brought it inside of himself. You know what was created? State in Medrash. The Orla was created on him. Who took it away? Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu, his halach lafana v'yei tomim. Avram is Ramach Evorim. Gematria, the Tzuras Ha'adam that was built to do mitzvahs. How many mitzvahs do we have? Ramach. How many Avarim does a person have? Ramach. What's the Gematria of Avram Avinu? Ramach. You know why? Because he was built to do mitzvahs. That's who he is. Hotem is second giving. Zok de Zera Shimshon. Let's finish it off. Haskama hazois hoisa b'schus Avram Avinu. Ala posik vayitza Hashem es Adam b'schusoi shel Avram. When he wanted to build Adam, he wanted to make a person, but he's going to mess up. How can you go ahead and make such a person? And now you know that he's going to be a Rasha. He's going to go ahead and ruin it. The teretz is, ich werde fragen dem Tzadik Yisoid Olam. I'm going to ask Avram Avinu. Sho'ayoroyu lihiboris koidem Adam Arishon. Steht in Medrash, he should have been created first. Why did he come afterwards? If he's the foundation, Eila told the Shemayim va'aretz, in this week's Parshas, Bihi Baram. Zok the Gemara, Bihi Baram ba'oisias Avraham. Told the Shemayim va'aretz is Be'avraham, in the schus of Avraham. Ela Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If I make Adam first, I make Avraham first, what's going to happen when Adam comes? It's Mekalkal. Who's going to fix it up? Let me make Adam first. That Mekalkal sein, and that Avram Avinu, Elane Boris Adam Techila, She'im Yekalkal, Yovei Avram v'Yisaken Achrav. Zog the Mishnah in Perkei Yovis. Asora Doris Ma'adam ad Ma'avram ad Noach, he wiped out the world. Asora Doris Ma'ach ad Avram ad Sheba Avram v'kibel schar kulam. The entire world is worth keeping going b'schus one person. That's called Salam Aleichem. That's called a person who's created in the image of the Bashefer. That the pshat is azoivi ich bin ayochid, and the world depends on me. A tzaddik is yisoid oilam, and the world depends on him. Zuk the Zera Shimshon. This is the koyach of every single yid. Afilu arosha zain ganze leben, and he's nifter arosha. The neshama is coming back, because the neshama has an Or Ha'elyon. And the neshama is going to fix it up. And the Rabbi Hashem trusted the Bria and knew that the neshamas have the koyach. This is the koyach that the Ovis HaKadoshim gave us. In Yiddish, we call it anzupflanzen, to imbue us, to embed in us, to bring within us to plant in us a koyach that under every single circumstance will always come out on top. And we'll finish. That's the yesod of what Yom Kippur was all about. How come the Rebbeinu Shem is Meichel and Zeravonis? It's because he knows it's not you. Because he knows that all those mistakes are the nochash that contaminated from the outside. But the inside is good. Oh, but look what happened. Even in Gan Eden, you'll go back to Gan Eden. You were created to be in Gan Eden, you're going to get back to Gan Eden. There's a person who's going to do it for you, Avram Avinu. And not only for you, he's going to do it for the whole world. Together with Yitzchak and with Yaakov Avinu, and be Masakin the Tzuras Adam. To find that inner koyach that we have, so we should shine forth within the neshamas as I be the Ovis HaKadoshim.